at my house. I should just not go there when I'm doing any live streaming, but it was hard to reconnect. So I left that area and tried again, but it just wasn't happening. But I guess let me just end this off as saying that, whatever happens to any of these YouTubers, whether it's Ricky or any of these people, it's really not to my concern, certainly anymore. Um, I think we kind of dragged this shit out with the court crap, I think to the point of exhaustion. And I just don't see any reason to continue that. I do appreciate your input on this, whether it matters to me or not. That's a whole different story. But your input on this was interesting, how you saw things, and but as I said, it's not up to me entirely where this is going, and it's kind of unfortunate that all this shit had to happen. And he could downplay this all he wants, but he did something that was terribly wrong with his continued speech about, oh, I called him a bad name. Well, you did, but it's a name that you don't call anybody. That's the difference. He can't differentiate between right and wrong, apparently. So let him do his shows, let him rant on and all that. I mean, he's going to do that no matter what. There's nothing going to stop him from doing that. That's for damn sure. But the ramifications that come from all of this, will be seen in the future. You know, and that's all I can really say. So anyway, if you're just tuning in, I was in a dead spot in the back of my house. I should know better to do a live stream back there every time. No, my service is good, uh, but I actually have a dead zone back at the house. I mean, it's always been the case. Okay, so I want to conclude this, and I just came on as a courtesy to let you know that yeah, my 1 minute cigarette. I told you I don't smoke much of a cigarette. I was over 7 minutes ago with a cigarette. Went out, a couple of drags, pretty much, and boom, that was it. That's how much I smoke. But the show is not about my smoking. It's about the realism involved with all this crap that's going on, and everybody has their own opinion about it as well as I do. But I don't think that. Let's see. I don't know what the hell Fortnite is. Yeah, my girlfriend's not happy about me doing any shows on here. Believe me, I see it in her face. I thought you were going to stop. Yeah, I owe her that much. I really do. Like I said, let the court decide what's going on, and everybody could speculate until the cows come home. But the reality of the situation is that I only have certain control. There's a lot of control I don't have on this matter, but there is some. And just let the dice roll, and let it go where it's going to go. That's all I can really tell you. Let him continue his hate speech on his show. Let him continue to be an asshole that he is. I know the guy can't help it, but it's not helping the situation out at all. And historically, it has not helped his situation at all. Joe Bean, some of us have an expected income. Well, I'm not monetized, so you can't donate. I'm poor too. I know what it's like being poor. I've always been poor. God, I could feel the humidity already. If I don't have a moving fan going on, man, thank goodness I got my generator though, in case of a blackout. I did something right. It's not the best generator in the world, but I mean, it's working. It looks kind of rickety rackety, but it works. Well, most of the time. It actually works. Yeah, I'm donate too there, Nolan Dale. We are poor as a dirt farmer here, so I can relate. But I don't have any monetization, so you can't donate anyway, really. Okay, so why don't we just kind of put a cap on all this shit? Because I don't have the talent. Well, in some cases I was pretty good in predicting stuff and it worked out. But generally, I just don't have that kind of magical talent to predict where this is all going. Only the court will render their decision. How long that takes? Fuck if I know. I personally think after this next hearing, it's probably going to be well into next year before the next hearing, probably. You know, the holidays, everything else. I'm surprised we even got a hearing date in December, to be honest with you, because, a lot of people are, you know, too busy with their families and people using their vacation status to not work in the different governmental offices and so forth. I'm actually very surprised, but I personally think that after this next hearing date, the next hearing date might be kind of stretched out, more than likely because of the holidays. That's a prediction that I'll make. I might be right on that one. And if I had to put a message to the boy, I would tell him this: stop pointing your fingers. You put yourself in that position. I know you're not happy. I certainly would not want to see myself in your position there. If I did wind up there, I guess I'd have to make the best of it, wouldn't I? It wouldn't be pleasant for you if you were still there. I could guarantee you that. But I, uh, I'm not going to say I feel for you in your situation in regards to what has transpired. But what I would say to him, and I know he's listening, when is he not, is that you put yourself, just, you know, come to grips. You put yourself in that situation, not me. Like I said, I didn't put a gun to your head and say, I'm not going to pay my visa fees. You did that all on your own, really. You would have eventually got caught anyway. Okay? Seriously. All it would take is an infraction of the law, while you were hiding from immigration. Then they would discover, you know, that you were indeed an overstayer. So that was inevitable to happen no matter what. That was inevitable. It was just a matter of time, really. And then as far as the case is going, well, come on, who could you blame for that? Yourself. You did say what you say, and everybody heard it, and the evidence is presented. Some of it, anyway. How could you argue that? You can't. So stop, with the pointing finger and all your lovely words that you're putting to me and disagreeing with all your viewers that like to make comments on there and you don't want to hear their comments and you try to ban them from your channel because you don't want to hear the truth. That ain't going to get you anywhere, and so far it hasn't gotten you anywhere. So, I'm not going to make a deal with you that if I don't do any shows pertaining to you, that you're not going to do any shows pertaining to me, because you will, because you can't help yourself. I expect that. And I know I'm not that stupid that you're always trying to get a reaction from me and you figure, yeah, he'll come on. He'll address something I said. Yeah, in some instances I did do that. But I think we're at the point now where it's just no point. There's no point. I kind of voiced my feelings about the whole situation, where I want this to go, or my kind of laid back attitude about where it could go, and if it does, it does. That's kind of where I'm at right now, and I'm kind of tired of hearing the same old bullshit that he didn't do nothing wrong, and He shouldn't be there. Yes, he should be there. By all means, he should be there for a lot of other things, too. For a lot of other things. But unfortunately, this case is not about all the other things that you've done. If that was, that you'd be getting practically a lifetime in fucking prison for all the shit that, by your own demonstration, have done. Be happy with one thing, that you didn't do anything that was actually reported and accepted to the prosecutor other than what you did, because you would not be sitting in immigration right now. He's worried, Joe Bean says that's why he does shows. Well, of course. Obviously. He's just venting out. It's okay. He could vent out, but he's got to understand that what he says is recorded. There's always a possibility of introducing new evidence on a case. He doesn't understand that. It takes a little paperwork from my attorney, but that could be introduced into the case. It's allowable. He's got to do some paperwork to do it. But it's more, it's a possibility more so to be allowable than not. I don't think he's in any position to argue with this. Mazda 9, I guarantee you that when Jordan got arrested, he had no idea that he'd be held in immigration for almost 19 months. No, he was always thinking that he was above the law. He figured he got away with it that long, like 7 years. And he thought that he could just get on social media, and as stupid as he was on camera doing it, well, he deserves whatever he's going to get. So I'm sorry, but I will not accept the bullshit statements from him that I did this to him. No, man. The reality of it, he needs a wake-up call. He did this to himself, nobody else. He did it to himself. I didn't force him to call me some sexual predator and all the other expletives that he's labeled me as. He did that on his own accord. His own. All right, lastly, Mazda 9. I first stepped foot in the Philippines in 77, and the number one thing that the old-timers told me was to settle any troubles before the police get involved. Well, I have to agree with you on that. It's a privilege to be in this country, is what it is. And I don't give a fuck if you got an SRV or a 13A. That don't matter. It gives you some clout, but you're still not a citizen here, really. I don't care what you call it. You weren't born here. You're not a Filipino. Like Ricky thinks he's a Filipino now because he's got an SRV. Yeah. Not exactly. Okay. Okay, well, it was interesting to hear your guys' opinions, as usual. I don't take them to heart, and I don't always agree with your opinions. I agree with some of you, but let's just let's put a cap on this. And it's kind of played out. Not kind of played out, it is played out. We're just giving material for Popeye to put a little excitement in his otherwise extraordinarily boring life as a retiree. Especially never got your sorry ass put in jail. Once there, you'll never know how it'll end. Barry is finding out the hard way. I guess he is. So I'm not going to put up argument with him anymore because he's expecting me to do a comeback. Oh, he'll do one. Of course he's going to do one, but that's expected. He wants me or to try to catch me in some kind of a statement that he could use against me or something. That's what he's trying to do. He's very desperate right now to find fault with me, but I'm not going to give him that opportunity. Why don't I simply say, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, and simply meaning that it's not over till this whole court thing is over. And wherever it goes, in either direction, either party, it goes. And I'll deal with anything that's adverse in my direction. Why? Because I'd have to deal with it. And We'll see what that situation goes. Yeah, there could be some consequences for the other person that has taken involvement in this. There certainly could. Can I guarantee it? No. Is it a possibility? Yes, it is. I can't say anything more than that, but my lawyer is obviously familiar. He's handling this shit with immigration situation. Obviously, he's aware of this. He's aware of the relationship between them two and the conspiracy to do what she did. His stupidity, he stupidly thinks that he's the has it all thought out, and he doesn't. Stefan says it'll be good for you and Gilda and Barry when this is all over. Yeah, it certainly will be. And guys, like I said to you before, and I know you don't believe this, but I've just been waiting for the moment. When I said I'm getting off social media, I actually meant it. I mean, I had it in my heart to do so, and I never did. But then I pretty much came to the conclusion that once this shit is all over, then that's a good time to just clean your slate and just get off social media and let people just fight with each other for what they do normally on here, and let them beat the shit out of each other and maim and make allegations to each other. I just don't want any part of that. Travel and repeat. You can still let us know what's going on in the Philippines. You don't have to get... Nah, man, it's overdue. You know how many times I've said to you guys, I've even said to my girlfriend, I'm just not going to do any more shows on here. It really does have to come to a point where, just mean what you say instead of say what you mean, because it's early time, you know. Any information that anybody wants to know about the case will come out through him or somebody. Of course, this may not be the truth as to how something went down, but if I could do an after the fact show, that's a possibility. If something, went down in court, it was worth reporting, it was over, whether, a decision was laid down on something like that, perhaps I could come on and blow my horn a little bit. But like I said, either way, come on, man. It's up to the judge. I could wish for anything I want. It doesn't mean I'm going to get it. And he could wish for anything he wants. It doesn't mean he's going to get it. Because neither one of us really knows. Let's be honest about this. Quick question from Mazda 9. Do you still have that picture of Barry behind? No, I don't have it. No. Oh, I have the picture, but no, it's not hanging on my wall like somebody said. Of course not. You think I want to see his ugly fucking face every day? Come on, get fucking real. No. I did that just as like a novelty thing. I thought it was adequate, a picture of him behind bars. Well, if I go behind bars, you get a picture of me too and hang it up on your wall. I mean, you got that opportunity. Come and see me. Bring me some ravioli or something worthwhile. Yeah, bring me a chisel or something. Nah, he could walk out of that place anytime he wants. He knows he could. God, that's an easy place to break out of. Holy shit, are you kidding me? Well, it's a good thing for his sake that he doesn't do that. I would venture to say so, Okay, so we're going to give this come on, girl. Give this a few minutes here. I guess she just mopped it. Come on, girls. Out. Come on. Come on. Outside. Go. Hold on. All right. I was just doing a lot of shows, really, just pass the time, really. That's all I've ever done is shows for anyway, to pass the time. Whoever said the life of somebody retired out here was so goddamn exciting. Although some people who do shows, they try to make their life sound so absolutely fucking exciting. But the reality is, they're probably sitting there watching the movies on Netflix. That's the reality. And it may go somewhere every now and then. But you think somebody's going to make a show like that's not going to be, oh, my life in the Philippines is so wonderful, and oh, me and the lady, we're going to go here next week, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. They do it for their show to make money. But that's far and in between what they actually do every day. Not a lot of expats can afford to go on trips all the time. They can't afford to go on these different adventures and somewhat, you know. Not everybody can do that. So to make a show, they want to make it seem like their life is so absolutely exciting. However, there are rare cases on this, you know. There are people that actually got the cash to do stuff like that. And they do it. And some of them make some pretty good money on their show. Bless them, if you could afford to do that. But alas, this is the Philippines. So much to do out here. If you got the money, if you got the physical ability to go on long treks and climb volcanoes and mountains, to be able to scuba dive, be able to do a lot of physical activities, and you have the capability of doing it such in inclement weather, well then, as I said, bless you, son, bless you. Not everybody has that ability. And most of what you hear on YouTube of people boasting about their wonderful, active life, well, I think a lot of that is not true. But in order to make their show exciting, they have to kind of exaggerate their lifestyle just a wee bit. I think most people do that. Or otherwise, the viewers are going to just turn off. You're going to have to show them something some now and then. Oh, me and the lady are going to go out, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And sometimes they do. But that's far and in between. They don't always do that. They try to make everything, even from going out to dinner, to be an exciting event. It's according how involved you are with that channel. If you're really involved with the channel, anything they do on there is going to be exciting to them. Oh, you're living a good life and blah, blah, blah. And then we hear all this crap about how much it takes to live in a... That varies every single day. And that's one of the most bored topics you could ever talk about on here, besides the one on, you know, what kind of Filipino you're looking for, where to find them, and all this advice that Paul gives and all this other crap, and, you know, don't meet them online and this and that and this, you know. Everybody has their own opinion. They're not always right, but if you're such a fan of somebody's channel, you're going to believe everything they say anyway, so in a way it just doesn't matter, does it? Okay, so, guys, let's just let this thing kind of drag where it's going to go. That's all I can tell you. I know my lady's not happy with me at all, doing the show at all. There was a while when I started to get off, and she was really happy about that. And of course, you know, my adversary wants me to do videos because he wants to catch me in something he could use against me, or he wants to give an excuse to put a show on because actually, you know, he does nothing to talk about at all. Even though he says, oh, I'm not going to talk about him no more, I'm not going to talk about Denny, goes right into soliloquy and starts talking about me time and time again because he doesn't have any content matter. He never did. He doesn't have the capability of doing such. And he's not what I would define as a vlogger. That's an insult to real vloggers. That's what I have to say. You want to find out shit? I guess just find out from him. I'm sure he's more than happy to share illegal paperwork with people like he did before. I'm sure he feels it's a feather in his hat when it's actually the opposite. Because this is the truth. He was not supposed to put out anything on YouTube about the so-called charge sheet and so forth. Oh yeah, and I definitely had long talks with my attorney about that one, and my attorney agrees with me. That's in a statement, too, to the immigration in actuality. So that may not work very good against him. There might be a lot of things that ain't going to work very good against him. But again, for me to sit here and say that I know all the